阿弥陀佛。
Are you ready?
Yes.
And you want to turn on your camera?
Okay. So should we begin?
I think you say just a few words about Reverend Henshu. Then we have request Dharma. After
Okay.
that, we can introduce Ajahn.
Okay.
You can start anytime.
Oh, were you going to start with Reverend Henshu?
You want to explain why?
Oh, okay. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Dharma Young, Ajahn Kovilo, and everyone here on the call. So tonight, Reverend Henshu usually lectures on the Avatamsaka Sutra, but he's not feeling so well. And so Yong Fasher invited Ajahn Kovilo, and also I think his name is, let me get his name correct here, Venerable Ajahn Kovilo on pilgrimage, and I think is it sorry,
the highest blessing?
Yeah, pilgrimage, the highest blessing, but then you have another person speaking afterwards, right?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. And also another person speaking afterwards. And so that way Reverend Henshu can get some rest. So we'll begin with the Dharma request by Alan Huang, I believe, and then I'll introduce Ajahn Kovilo, and we can begin to, you can say, listen and also see his recent pilgrimage with a community from Clear Mountain Monastery in India and the Buddha's holy places. I don't know if he's also going to show us, but maybe also places from Thailand and other places they visited. Okay, so maybe Alan, if you could start.
Yong Fashi, do I need to translate what Chuan Fashi just said in Chinese or?
I think sometimes you can say that in Chinese, right?
OK， 好，大家阿弥陀佛。我们今晚施法师因为可以说生病，可以说不能今天晚上讲法，他们请了Ajahn Kovilo，他是我等一下来介绍他会讲关于他最近去泰国跟印度跟一团体去可以说修行，我看了非常有意思。所以我想我们今天晚上可以看他，不只是听他的，也可以看他的这些照片在印度。好，我们先开始来请法，大家请合掌，我们可以请可以说来学习佛法。
恭请大德圣听，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，殊证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering, attain bliss, and end birth and death, and quickly realize numbers.
Okay. Okay. Please, Ajahn.
Yes, okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. So, Amitofo, thank you, Dharma Master Jin Yongshi and Jin Chuanshi. Thank you, Alan. I'm very happy to be here this evening, and it would have probably been a more exciting talk if Dharma Master Heng Sure had been here, but yeah, I can share a bit about my recent pilgrimage with a group of 30 people from Seattle, going first to Thailand for a week and then to Bodh Gaya, to the Bodhi tree. So, Alan, should I stop to do translation? Are you doing simultaneous translation?
No, the sequential. So, Faster, you need to stop, then I can translate.
Ajahn, would you want me to just briefly introduce you first, just to the community? Okay.
Yeah,
so
please.
let me just do that. So Ajahn Kovilo is actually someone I've known quite long. He came to the 7,000 Buddhas. I was checking your biography. Was it 2006?
2007, I think, that I met you.
And then he was actually an avid meditator and was meditating in the Goenka tradition, which is doing long hours in Vipassana. And I remember he told me that to deepen his meditation practice, he found a very conducive job, which was being one of those, the people when you drive through the bridge and there's a toll booth and you pay and then they let you through. They thought, that'd be the perfect job. I could just meditate in the toll booth, you have a little room and just hand out people's, payments and let people go through. So he did that for some time. And they thought, well, maybe I want to make this the whole way of life. He was exploring monasticism. And on the way to Abhayagiri, he spent maybe 4 or 5 months at CBTB.
Something like that. It felt a lot longer than it was, however long.
Yeah. And then he was ordained at Abhayagiri. And that was in, I think, 2010. He received full ordination as a bhikshu. So he's 13 years, Tara. And he has traveled throughout Thailand, America, in different monasteries, meditating and practicing. And fairly recently, I think it was 2020, Ajahn Kovilo came to DRBU to be a student. And he's a very diligent student at the university, beginning the BA program and basically not just doing the classes, but really deepening his understanding of languages and starting various clubs. So he started the Pali Club at DRBU and also a talk in the afternoons, Kalyana Tea, where he interviews various practitioners. And so there's many ways he's contributed to the DRBU community. But finally, and I think it'll connect with his talk today, he's been involved with starting a Buddhist community called Clear Mountain Monastery. And I think the hopes are to establish a monastery up in the Seattle area. And he's doing it with his, you could say, good Kalyana Mitra, his good friend, spiritual friend, Ajahn Nisabo. And so he went with that whole community to, I think, Thailand and India on a pilgrimage. And so we have a chance to see some of that journey today. And maybe you could talk a little bit about Ajahn Kovilo, but I was really impressed that when you had the people go as a community, they actually were going as a kind of practicing body. You know, I think I saw them hold the 8 precepts, and they even had a practice of confession for the laity and holding those on the journey, which I thought was quite innovative in a way of helping lay people maintain the precepts in this kind of training form. So I think your stories would be quite wonderful to hear.
You have to translate.
Oh no.
Alan, can Alan
Okay.
translate?
Okay, Alan,
No
yeah, there'll be a lot better Alan's translation. My Chinese will come out kind of kakababa.
所以在 Kovilo 法师开始跟诸位分享之前呢，就由传法师先简单的介绍Kovilo 法师的一些背景。他呢是在2007，我认识他非常久，在2007年他就来到万佛城，大概住过了差不多4到5个月左右，他感觉上时间还蛮久的，没有那么短。然后他开始呢是先修内观禅，就是葛印卡老师所带的那种内观禅的禅修班。然后他参加禅修了之后呢，觉得说这个修行太好了，然后他想要找到一个方法，能够继续就是延迟他的修行的一种生活方式。所以他当时找了一个工作呢，就是在高速公路的收费站。因为高速公路收费站呢，他可以花很多的时间打坐，因为只有车经过的时候呢，需要找零钱给车子通过，然后其他时间他可以在收费站里面坐着打坐。他这样过了一段时间，然后呢，他后来是在2010年受具足戒，就是在无畏山寺，在我们万佛城北方开车25分钟那边受具足戒，所以他的戒腊呢目前是13年。然后呢，他有常常探访很多地方，像在泰国、美国各个不同道场。然后在最近呢，他是在2020年来到我们法界大学，成为学士班的学生，开始参加我们的学习的课程，正式成为学生。他不仅呢在课业上有下很多功夫，努力学习，还有不同的语言。然后他也成立了就是巴利文的一个学生社团，然后有办一些活动，譬如说像在品茶，就是喝茶的时候呢，请不同的人来分享、来演讲。所以他也是在我们法界大学呢有诸多贡献。然后这一次呢，他是在带着他呢在西雅图的一个佛寺，他本身还有另外一个法师呢所创的佛寺叫做清凉山寺，然后他们有一行人，大概有30个人，然后从西雅图，然后有3周长的时间的一个朝圣之旅，就到泰国到印度的朝圣之旅。然后传法师提到说呢，像这样子的一个朝圣之旅是非常特别，因为它是一群修行人一起来进行，然后在整个过程呢也受8戒，然后他们是一个带着修行的一个心态跟方式来踏上这个旅程。所以我们很高兴有这个机会能够听到法师的分享这个朝圣之旅。阿弥陀佛。
我可以加刚刚有说对，很特别的是他们这个8戒还有居士做对手忏，就如果他们在修8关斋戒哪方面不清净，他们还会自己来怎么说互相支持来实践，所以这个是很特别的。平常我们法师有这样子的做法，但他也居士有一个这个机会，所以我想这个是很难得的。好。
Okay. Thank you, Dharma Master. Thank you, Alan. I think I'll begin before going into the pilgrimage and showing a bit of a slideshow. Begin as Master Hua did, as many of the Buddha's disciples done, both in Theravada and the Mahayana, with actually referring to and starting with a sutra. So this is the Sutra on the Highest Blessings, or the Mangala Sutta. I have put the Chinese, English, and Pali version in the chat, but we'll actually be chanting the English version from the Abhayagiri chanting book. So this will just be a good framework. This is one of the most well-known chants in the Theravada tradition.
在我们全世可以发生这 set。 OK， 所以在我们开始分享这次的朝圣之旅，我们就照着玄空上人的传统，我们会有研读经典。然后这次的经典呢，要跟诸位分享的是叫做吉祥经，是巴利文藏经里面其中最受欢迎的一部经典，叫吉祥经。然后我们是唱诵英文版，然后这英文版呢的翻译是我们就是无畏山寺他所唱诵的英文版本。OK， 阿弥陀佛。
Thus have I heard that the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Chitta's Grove, in Anatta Pindika's park. Then in the dark of the night, a radiant Deva illuminated all Chitta's Grove. She bowed down low before the Blessed One. Then standing to one side, she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor. These are the highest blessings. Living in places of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings. Accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with discipline highly trained, and speech that is true and pleasant to hear. These are the highest blessings. Providing for mother and father's support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no being. These are the highest blessings. Generosity and a righteous life, offering help to relatives and kin, and acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings. Steadfast in restraint, and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, and heedfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings. Respectfulness and of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings. Patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of the Dhamma. These are the highest blessings. Ardent, committed to the holy life, seeing for oneself the noble truths, and the realization of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings. Although involved in worldly tasks, unshaken the mind remains, and beyond all sorrow, spotless, secure. These are the highest blessings. They who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings. Just posted the Chinese version of that, along with an English and Pali translation. And this is one of the most well-known, well-memorized, and most beautiful suttas of the Theravada Pali tradition.
刚才呢，法师有把英文、巴利文、中文的吉祥经，就是放在聊天室，所以大家可以去看。然后这个经典呢，是巴利文藏经里面算是最受欢迎的一个经。
And it starts off and concludes in a way which is both beautiful for Theravada practitioners and also for Mahayana practitioners, starting from the very basics of a spiritual life, avoiding fools, basically, and then goes all the way up to the realization of Nibbana. It's funny, in the chanting books that we have here at Sudana Center, whoever made the chanting books copy and pasted this version of the chant, but then changed all the Dhamma to Dharma and changed Nibbana to Nirvana. But let's see, same thing.
这部巴利经典呢，它有把一个修行人所应该要有的一种生活方式呢，都很仔细的解释得很清楚，从一开始一直到结束。所以这不仅是适合不管是南传或北传，都很适合修行的一种方式，比如离开愚痴的一种行为，然后直到涅槃。然后在我们善财中心，就是我们法界大学南生住的善财中心，它的唱诵本呢也有这部经文。然后当时就是在做这个经文的当时的编译者呢，有把就是巴利文的 Dhamma 改成 Dharma， 就是从巴利文改成梵文，那 Nibbana 改成 Nirvana， 就是改成从巴利改梵文，可是一直都是一样的，这都是意思都相同的。阿弥陀佛。
So I believe Dharma Master Heng Sure has started to reference this sutta for people in Thailand, Burma, and Sri Lanka and other Southeast Asian countries. They will memorize it and chant it in a way which can be seen as somewhat similar to chanting the Great Compassion Mantra, or the way that the Shurangama mantra is chanted, just as a way to collect the mind. And in the Thai tradition, they talk about connecting with the Buddha Dhatu. So we can do that with this chant.
像我知道，就是石法师在他讲经的时候，有开始介绍这部经。然后这部经呢，在南传的国家呢，像泰国、缅甸、斯里兰卡等等，像大家呢，不仅只会唱诵，而且把它背诵起来，就像我们北传呢，在背大悲咒、背楞严咒一样的方式，把它背诵起来。然后这样子背诵呢，可以让我们能够更了解它的佛意。
So we'll be focusing mostly on these preliminary verses of avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor, living in places of suitable kinds with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the principles which led myself and my brother monk Ajahn Nisabo to lead a group of 30 American pilgrims from Seattle to Thailand in early December of last year.
所以在经文呢的首句就是勿近愚痴人，应与智者交，尊敬有德者等等。然后他讲的这些呢，都是一个修行人应该有的一个基本生活方式。然后我们呢，就是跟我的同参道友，我们住是在清凉山寺，阿江就是尼萨布，我们一起呢带个30个人的一个参访团的一个朝圣团，从西雅图然后到亚洲来朝圣。
Yeah, so this is part of our group. That's myself and Ajahn arriving into the Thailand airport. These are all Americans. We've got two. In this picture, 2 people from Thailand and 3 people from Thailand and 2 Vietnamese women, Vietnamese American, but the rest of the pilgrims were all Americans. None of us whom were born into Buddhist families, but all of us who have found the Dhamma and are more and more sincere and wanting to give our lives more and more to the Dhamma.
像我跟我的师兄就是一起带这30个人，然后其中呢，他们几乎都是美国人，只有3位是在泰国出生，2位在越南出生，所以大部分的人都是当地的美国人，并不是生长或者成长在一个佛教的一个家庭之中，但是他们的虔诚跟努力的修行，然后学习这种舍的这个心呢，都是一样是坚固的。
So we stayed at for our 1 week in Thailand, the whole point of which for going to Thailand was to associate with the wise. My belief and the belief of most of the monks in the monasteries that I'm associated with, that there are still arahats, living arahats in the world. And it is my belief that some of the teachers who we visited are attained, and this is the highest form of associating with the wise. So to do this, we are willing to put up with things which are not easy. This is the dorm room for the lay people. These are all Americans, none of whom are used to lying on the ground, or as Jin Chuan-Shi mentioned, keeping the 8 precepts. But for the whole of our trip, no one ate in the afternoon, and everyone pretty much lied just on the ground. And these mats are thicker than some that they spent the nights on.
我们花1个礼拜的时间在泰国，然后我们为什么要去呢？就是我们希望能够与智者能够更亲近，要尊敬有德者，就刚才的吉祥信所讲的经文。然后我相信呢，像在我们这个世界上，还是有修行很好的，还是有修行正果的罗汉在这个世界上。然后我也相信，就是说呢，在我们遇到这几个善知识呢，这些老师们呢也有。然后我觉得这样子的一种跟智者有亲近，能够尊敬智者，这是一个最好的一种方式。然后刚才所看到的这些照片呢，有一张就是我们的宿舍的疗房。然后疗房你看到就是在地板上就是放一个很简单的一个垫子。然后像这些人呢都是美国人，他们在美国出生长大，他们并没有那种习惯就睡在硬地板，可是呢他们都愿意接受这样子非常简单的简朴的生活方式。然后之前也有提到，就是说他们都有受8戒，所以整个团呢都是过午不食。
So the line in that Mangala Sutta, the highest blessings, that says, with the fruits of past good deeds, what it is referring to in Pali is pube kata punyata, so having done punya, which is merit. And to get a fuller sense of that, what that means, what is merit, what are good deeds in the Theravada tradition, which obviously has relationship with the Mahayana, these are the 10 bases of merit. I put a link in the notes, but bases of merit in a Pali tradition are dana, or any kind of generosity, not just giving alms, sila, or keeping precepts, bhavana, or practicing meditation, concentration, honoring other people, or another translation is humility, which is beautiful, being of service, dedicating merit to others. So this is a concept which is only very briefly talked about in the Pali tradition, but as Dharma Master Heng Sure is elaborating in this 25th chapter of the Avatamsaka on the 10 transferences or the 10 dedications, the Mahayana tradition, the Avatamsaka Sutra, just takes this very small principle in the Theravada and makes it so beautiful. I was reading the Avatamsaka, this 25th chapter this afternoon, and was just blown away. It's so beautiful. And the remaining 10 types of bases of merit in the Pali are rejoicing in other people's merit, or sometimes I call it the lazy person's merit, because you don't have to do anything. You just have to be happy when you see somebody else doing something, listening to teaching, giving teachings, and straightening out your views. So we're trying to do all of these when we're in Thailand. Really, we're trying to do these our whole life, but this is another structure for understanding what we were training on pilgrimage.
像法师呢，在聊天室有记到这个连结，这个连结呢，他所解释就是在巴利文所讲到的 punya 就是说一种这种尊敬供养的一种方式。他呢，在这个里面有提到有8种，就是10种的不同的德行德行可以有功德的一种方式。所以它其中呢，第一个讲的就是供养，第二个呢，就是要修行要有守戒，第三呢，譬如说就是我们的禅修、禅坐修行啊等等，然后到第六个所指的就是我们的回向。就是把我们做功德、做好事的这功德回向给其他众生。然后这第6点，这个回向呢，在我们巴利文呢就讲这样子。可是今天下午呢，我有去翻我们华严经的10回向品，就是现在释法师在讲的这个章节。然后我下午花点时间读的时候呢，就发现哇，这个北传经典呢，把这个回向呢，整个就是算是发扬光大。把一个很简单的一个动作呢，非常仔细一个美好的方式呢，把它给写出来。所以今天下午在读的时候呢，就让我充满赞叹。然后再来就是就是第7个，就是水洗他人的功德。像这种水洗呢，对我而言就算是一种最懒惰人的一种修行的方式。为什么呢？因为你其实不用去做功德，你去赞叹别人所做的功德。这样子就是一种水洗，你这样子反而就有了赞叹别人的水洗功德，所以这是像一种其他这几个大点。所以我们这次30个人的一个参访团，一个朝圣团呢，就照着这种10个这种修行的方式来进行我们的游览跟朝圣。
So here is a daily occurrence in Thailand. Even during COVID, many monasteries didn't stop going alms. Some did, but as you can see, the monks are still wearing masks. But this is an opportunity for some of these pilgrims, for some of these Americans. It was the first time in their life that they were ever able to give alms to monks. So in the Thai tradition, and also in monasteries in the West, at Abhayagiri Temple Monastery, Amaravati, monks will similarly go for alms with our alms bowls. And people will offer food. And this is a humbling experience for the monks. And it's also a humbling experience for the lay people. As you can see, these are Americans. I mean, we suck at humility in America, but this is a great chance to, you have this opportunity to, pay respects to the robes, pay respects to the symbol of the Sangha, to pay respects to a symbol of what's beautiful, and to make an offering to that. So to practice dana and to practice this, this humility and service.
像诸位所看到呢，就是在泰国的比丘们呢，在街道上托钵。然后我们的参访团的团员呢，这些美国出生的人，他们就是跪着，然后供养。然后我是知道呢，就算是在新冠肺炎的这个肆虐的期间呢，像有一些比丘呢，还是有沿街托钵，并没有完全停止。然后其中我们的参访团很多人是第一次有这种托钵的经验，因为这种托钵的这个习俗呢，对比丘或是对我们这种在家人呢，都是一个很好的一种修行的方式，让比丘我们会觉得谦卑，然后让我们的在家众呢，他有这个机会能够尊敬我们的修行者，尊敬僧团， 来谦卑就是一种恭敬的方式来供养比丘。
So as you can see, the basis of merit, the Buddha says to the monks, do not look down on merit. Merit is another word for happiness. Punya is another word for sukha. And we see this again and again with these Americans who went with us, that giving alms actually leads to happiness. Giving up actually leads to getting happiness. And so you can see that in the expressions of the two pilgrims here. And we saw that every single day as a monk in Thailand. You do see that. You see people, no one is compelled to offer alms. It's just people wanting to do good. So as an American going to live in Thailand, I just saw the best of everyone. I saw the best of the culture every day. Just lived in Thailand for about 6 years. So every day of that, all of the food that I ate was given to me. And it's just a very humbling and impressive thing where you get to see the beauty of people come out. And paying attention both to the lay people offering and to the monk. This is Ajahn Anan, he is the abbot of the first monastery that we visited. And he's a monk who, as we'll see, has affinities with the Mahayana tradition, specifically with Guanyin Bodhisattva.
在这个照片呢，所以所看到的就是我们在供养的。然后第一个佛寺我们所看到的，这是我们的住持比丘，叫阿江安难。他呢是我们第一个参访佛寺的住持的比丘。那你看到我们的参访的团员呢，就跪着去供养他。其在佛陀所教的经典之中呢，就有提到，就是我们不要去看清这种供养的方式，也不要去看清这种托钵的这个形式。因为这样子的一种互动呢，其实呢，它是有无上的功德。你可以看到，就是我们参访团的团员呢，他这样子在每一天都有这种供养僧团的方式，可以带给他们每一天的一个快乐的一天的开始。所以像在这种习惯呢，在泰国其实是每天都发生的。所以每一个人呢，在每一天都会有想要做这样子的一个善事，一个善行。所以像我是美国人，我之前在泰国住了6年，在那6年之中呢，每一天我所食用的食物呢，都是由这些信众所供养提供的，所以让我觉得就更谦卑的一个心来修行。
So this is our group with Ajahn Anan.
所以这是我们的合照，跟我们第一个参访佛寺的住持比丘阿江阿难。
So this on the right here is the main Dhamma hall. We'll see another picture, but in the back, this is the Avalokiteshvara shrine building. And we'll get another view of it. It's up here on the right. And here is the inside of the Avalokiteshvara Vihara.
像刚才 Kovilo 法师提到，就是阿江安难尊者呢，他跟观音菩萨跟我们北传也非常有缘，因为在他的佛寺呢，他也开了一个观音殿。像刚才呢的照片呢，就是观音殿在盖的外围，这是观音殿的内部。所以虽然他是南传的法师呢，他跟我们北传的观音菩萨也非常有缘。
Yeah, perhaps similar to Master Hua, Ajahn Anan, I believe, has spoken about actually having contact with Guanyin, and he has many disciples in China and in Malaysia, and they wanted, in him having this connection with Guanyin, he had this Guanyin shrine built, and it's a whole meditation area, and where you can do circumambulation while chanting, or come inside and chant as well to connect with what they say the barami, connect with the paramita of Guanyin, connect with the spiritual perfection of Guanyin.
像阿江阿难法师呢，他也有很多的中国弟子，那有马来西亚来的弟子， 然后因为这样子很多的因缘呢，所以他就跟观音就有一个很好的因缘。他盖的这个观音殿呢，在观音殿里面，它是可以打坐，可以绕佛，然后可以这样子来修行，可以跟观音菩萨的波罗蜜的法门呢，深深的连接在一起。
So this is wonderful to see because it breaks down the distinctions that many people have that Thailand is Theravada and some other country is Mahayana, another country is Vajrayana, whereas in reality, things are mixed. And you have people like this monk here who's giving us a tour of the actually leading us and letting us know about the practice there. Some of his main practices are recitation of the Great Compassion Mantra. He does it in Sanskrit, but it's a common thing. There are other monks at this monastery with Ajahn guidance who will practice chanting the Great Compassion Mantra or Om Mani Padme Hum. So this is just what happens inside a living Buddhist country. Is you have people who have connections with different paths, and that's okay. And they can live in the same monastery. This monastery has about 30 to 60 monks, and most of them maybe feel a lot of affinity with Theravada, but then you have some who practice and really have aspirations for Buddhahood, or you might even have people who have aspirations to become a Mahasavaka or a great disciple. All of these things mix in Thailand.
所以这张观音殿的照片呢，其实是非常珍贵的，因为像一般人呢，就会认为说，泰国呢就是南传的，然后会有这种见解，然后都会有这样子一种分别的思考，说那这个佛寺呢，那是北传的，然后这个佛寺呢，那可能是藏传的。那其实呢，在现实的一个世界之中呢，很多都是会混在一起的，都是融合在一起。然后像在这一个佛寺之中呢，大概有差不多比丘有30到60位比丘，当然他们都是以南传的比丘为主，可是他们很多人呢也是志在上求佛道。像刚才照片中呢，有位西方比丘，他给我们一个导览，他本身呢每天也都有持大悲咒，他是念梵文的大悲咒。然后其他有些比丘呢，可能就是念6字大明咒等等，所以像这样子一个南北传融合的一种修行的方式呢，在这里呢也是看得到，尤其是像这样在泰国的佛寺呢，这样子的一个具现呢，这是非常珍贵难得的。
This is the main Dhamma hall, and so we spent 3 days there, 3 nights, getting teachings, paying respects to Ajahn. Many of our pilgrims, although they became interested in Buddhism, having first found meditation teachings in a Theravada tradition, many of them are open to Mahayana practices. And during our 3 days there, many of the people would come to this. There was a retreat going on during our 3 days. So we were meditating, sitting and walking meditation all day for most of those days, even though there was quite a bit of jet lag. But people would move back and forth from that big hall here, where they're meditating and looking at, this is Shakyamuni Buddha underneath Muchalinda, the Naga, the Long, the dragon. And then they would go back to the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara shrine and practice both ways, depending on their own personal conditions.
像这是我们第一个参访的佛寺，我们在那里住3天3夜，当然就是见阿姜阿难法师，然后跟他顶礼。然后在这3天呢，刚好他们有一个禅修的活动，所以我们就是跟他们一起打坐，一起修行。然后我们30多个团员呢， 很多人他们都是对打坐很有兴趣，有些对北传的修行方式也都很有兴趣。所以我们在这3天之中，虽然我们都有时差，还在调时差，可是大家都非常的精进，就是会参加打坐，还有参加经行。然后呢，就是在刚才我们看到的大佛殿，就是本是释迦牟尼佛，然后它上面就是有龙王的一个图腾，然后就照着释迦牟尼佛保护着释迦牟尼佛，然后他才从佛殿呢，我们打完坐，然后会经行到观音殿，然后继续再做打坐，就是这2个殿，就是在不同的地方继续我们的修行。
So Jin Yongshi had perhaps recommended opening up to questions at 8:15. Maybe I'll just go quickly. I think there are maybe just a few more pictures, and one thing which is talked about in the Pali Canon is the merit or the way of practice, the aspect of practice, which is just seeing. In that Mangala Sutta, there's a verse, Samananancha Dasanang, seeing venerated seekers of the truth. So myself and many others, as I know many disciples of CTTB, will have images of their different teachers or the Master Hua on their shrine. And so even though I don't think tonight I'll be able to talk much about the other places or the other teachers, these are some of the people who I respect most in the world, and who are most worthy of respect in the world. So I'll just go slowly through those and maybe won't give so much commentary tonight.
永法师有建议我在8点15分，可能就是简单的可以让大家有机会可以问问题，所以我还有几张照片呢，我可能不会说太多，就很快的呢把我的照片呢跟诸位做分享。因为在我们的巴利藏经里面有提到，有很多不同的功德、不同的方式，甚至于有时候连见到佛像、见到佛经，像这样子也有它的一个殊胜功德。当然我知道诸位呢，在座很多人呢都已经很有修行，比如在万佛城，在其他地方，你们可能都有看到佛像、看到佛经等等。我就借这个机会跟诸位很简单的做分享，因为这几张照片呢，对我而言都非常重要，都是我很尊敬的非常多的我的老师，很尊敬的上师，所以想借这个机会跟大家很快的就做的分享。
So maybe we can open it up to questions, and I'll just continue cycling through these. But would that make sense?
所以现在我们可以就开放诸位可以问问题，然后在问问题其中呢，我可以就是借这个机会呢，继续就把我们这次朝圣团的照片呢，继续跟大家做分享。
Ajahn, I think it's better that you briefly explain what these pictures are.
Okay.
Instead of just going through that.
Okay. So this is Ajahn Suchat, who is, he speaks English and is a wonderfully inspiring teacher.
像这位法师呢，尊者他是叫阿江舒卡，他呢可以讲英文，也是我非常尊敬的一位老师。
This is Ajahn Dan. He is a disciple of Ajahn Chah and has visited Abhayagiri twice.
像这位照片的尊者是阿江 Dam， 他呢也是阿江查尊者的弟子，他也有来到美国的无畏寺参访过2次。
There is so much beautiful artwork and yes, sculpting in Thailand. This is just one example.
有非常多很精美的佛像的雕刻艺术，那这些都是其中的几个美好的例子。
These are Buddha relics. So in Thailand, there are monks who are believed to have psychic powers, who can actually either touch relics or touch something and say, yes, this is a Buddha relic. This is from the Buddha, or this is from an arhat, or this is just a marble, or this is just a piece of plastic or something. But I believe a number of reliable and trustworthy monks have said that these actually are relics from the Buddha.
像这个就是佛舍利，然后在泰国呢，有一些修行人呢，比如说他们有神通，所以他呢，如果接触这个舍利呢，他可以知道说这个舍利呢是佛陀的真身的舍利，或是罗汉的舍利，然后或是说它可能是一个塑胶或是个玻璃球，所以他们能够分别，能够知道什么是真正的舍利。
And this is certainly something which stretches the faith of many, or stretches the belief of many Americans. But some of them can be open to it.
所以这个佛陀的真身舍利呢，对这些美国弟子、美国人来讲呢，哇，他们很难能够相信，说是释迦牟尼佛的舍利。可是对于他们而言呢，这也是一个扩展他们事业他们信仰的一种方式。
This is still Ajahn Dan. Just all of the teachers received us so warmly. It was such an uplifting experience with each teacher.
像这个照片呢，也是阿姜旦尊者，然后所有接待我们的所有的法师呢，都对我们非常的好，非常的照顾，我们都是充满感恩。
So this is another example of the sleeping arrangement for the pilgrims. This is not easy for Americans, sleeping on these little mats, and they are literally sleeping in a cage. So these are very determined pilgrims who see spiritual benefit, even if it comes with physical hardship.
像这照片就是我们的睡觉的地方的安排，那对美国人而言呢，这是非常的不容易，因为他们睡在一个薄薄的一个毯子上面。像这样子的一种修行方式呢，他们就是没有这种物质的一种优渥，可是他们就是很努力的抱一个修持的心来这样子来过，增长他们的灵性。
They weren't being punished. The cage was not locked. It was just keeping out dogs and birds and snakes.
像这样子的像一个小小的一个山洞的这个铁皮屋当然我们会关门，那是因为怕有一些比如说狗一些野兽会进来。
So more and more artwork, just incredible woodworking.
像这个木雕呢，也是非常精美、非常惊人、令人赞叹的一个木雕，非常的细致。
And these are in Thailand?
This is in Thailand, yes. This is at a monastery whose abbot is Ajahn Jandi, who's also a disciple of Ajahn Chah. There are over 300 monasteries in the Ajahn Chah tradition in Thailand.
像这个佛寺呢，他的住持法师是阿姜姜迪，他也是阿姜查尊者的弟子。阿姜查尊者呢，他在泰国呢有300间佛寺。
This in this building, there were images along all of the walls of the story of the Buddha. I believe this is Maya Gotami giving birth to the Buddha with perhaps one of her attendants on the side.
像在这个佛寺的墙壁呢，都有精美的雕塑，他讲的佛陀的本身的故事。他的故事其中这一张照片呢，应该就是摩耶夫人她生 悉达多太子的时候的照片，然后摩耶夫人旁边呢就是他的侍者。
So there is a practice in Theravada Buddhism of Devanusati, or recollection of devas, and some teachers, including Ajahn count recollection of the bodhisattvas as a type of Devanusati, or recollection of divine beings, recollections of bright beings.
像南传呢，他们修行呢也会念天，就天界的天人这些天神念天，就是然后像阿姜阿难尊者呢，他有很仔细的去观察，就是像这种天界的神菩萨等等，就算在南传，他们也会有注意这些。
His meeting with Ajahn Ganha, who is a very unique monk. He has this long pole, which is maybe 10 feet long, and he will go around and tap people on with it. I'm not sure why, but it was a lot of fun, actually.
这张照片呢是阿姜刚哈尊者，他非常的特别，你可以看到他手上有这个将近10英尺长的一个木杆，然后他呢会拿着这个木杆呢，就是轻轻敲这些信众们，加持我们，这是一个非常非常有趣的一个经验。
This is Lumpur Biak, and as you can see, these it might seem strange that these are Americans because we all seem so humble and but it was an amazing trip. Just even though things were not always easy, the living situation was not always easy, people really did step up to learn how to do gestures of respect and really pay attention to and enjoy the teachings.
那照片呢是 Lumpur Biak， 然后你可以看到我们的这些信众呢，他们学着如何呢一种尊敬的礼拜的方式来听经听法师开示，对这些美国人来讲都是一个很特别的经验，并不是容易的，可是他们都很愿意的学习。
Here we are with Ajahn Jayasara, who's another disciple of Ajahn Chah, who has a Buddhist school which we visited, and he also is a very renowned meditation teacher.
这张照片呢是跟阿姜 Jayasaro 的合照。阿姜 Jayasaro 呢，他有一个学校，他有办了一个学校，然后我们就跟他在他这里探访。他也是阿姜查尊者的弟子。
This woman here, her name is Mechi Panyasiri. In Thailand, they do not have bhikshunis like we have at City of 10,000 Buddhas, but they do have Mechi, which are renunciant female monastics. And she gave our group a Dhamma talk, and it was so good. She, I believe she is from China, from mainland China, but has been living in Thailand for 4 years, practicing as a Mechi.
在照片您看到的呢，叫做 Mechi Panyasiri。像 Mechi 呢，它是一个很特别的一个称呼，因为在泰国呢，你看不到像我们北传的像这种比丘尼出家法师们，所以他们女众的修行者呢，他们呢就是名称就叫做 Mechi， 然后是过着一种出家的一种清净生活。然后他有跟我们的团员呢有分享佛法，我相信他应该是中国来的，然后他在泰国住了4年，然后他分享的时候呢，哇，让我们觉得很震惊和惊讶，他说法分享是如此之好。
And I think we might have to wrap it up. Could we do a dedication of merit?
We'll do that at the end, because we have second speaker. Okay. Can you wait? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. It's such a wonderful talk, and everybody enjoying it. And I don't see any questions here. Prajna has a question. We want to know whether the 10 bases of merit is the same as 10 good deeds or 10 paramitas.
It's not the same as the 10 paramita, and it's the same as the 10 kusala patana. It's the 10 paramita and the 10 kusala kama patana occur in the canon, but that list of the 10 punya kiryavatu, or bases of merit, occur only in the commentaries. Great list.
The second question is there any website that we can find some relevant information if you want to visit these monasteries you show us in Thailand?
Yes, I will share a link to that.
You can do that later. Time is up. Sorry, I'm short of time. Wish we had more time for you. So, appreciate that. And our next speaker, Dr. Koay, can you? Yeah, okay. So we have the next speaker, Dr. Koay. I introduced him before. I think many people know him. I'll just say that briefly. He was grew up in Penang, Malaysia, in a very poor fishing village. And he was able to turn around. He was a very naughty, mischievous student when he was young. But he turned around 180% degrees and get a full scholarship in college here in the US. So he came over to study, and after college, continued to study physics in University of Wisconsin Madison, could get a PhD degree there, and work a few years in DC area, and then moved to Ukiah as a volunteer teacher at boys' school for many years. Last year, he went to Pennsylvania to teach a school there for 1 year, and he's going to share with us his experience there. 我简单的介绍一下郭博士，大家其实很多人都晓得他，他是在槟城长大的，一个很穷的一个渔村。小的时候不是一个好孩子，是个坏学生，但是他到中学时代就突然180度的转变，然后还拿到美国这边大学的全额奖学金，到美国来读书。大学毕业以后，他继续读研究所，在威斯康星州的威斯康大学拿到物理博士的学位。接下来他是在华盛顿特区那边工作了好几年，然后全家搬到万博城这附近来，在万博城南校当义务老师当了很多年。去年他是到宾州那儿一个学校教了1年书，今天他是要和我们分享他在那边1年的经验。Okay, Dr. Koay, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
It is clear.
I'll share just a few slides. Thank you, Ajahn Kovilo, for your lecture. Thank you, Dharma Master Jin Yong and Jing Chuan. Alan and Sishong, I wonder if you can help me with the Chinese translation.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So let me try to. So this is just a brief sharing of my teaching experience at the French school in Pennsylvania the last academic year. So Thank you, Alan.
在这里呢，想跟诸位分享我在公益学校这个寄宿学校教授1年的经验，这是去年。
So, the Friends School is founded by Quakers, and the Quaker traditions they have these acronyms called SPICES. SPICES stands for simplicity, peace, integrity, community, equality, and stewardship.
像这个学校，它的立校的精神呢，叫做 Quaker。那这个 Quaker 的 tradition 呢，它有几个不同的宗旨。它的缩写呢叫 SPICE，S-P-I-C-E。那 S 呢指的就是一个简单的生活方式 S。然后 P 呢是一个和平平和的方式 ，I 呢就 integrity 就一个正直公正的方式。
So, for simplicity, they usually means that you value the spiritual over the material and keep your life simple, in alignment with the soul's purpose.
像简单的生活方式呢，就是做一个简朴。那这个简朴呢，就是我们珍惜所有的不同的资源的这种简朴的生活方式。
Peace usually means like try to learn how to communicate effectively to avoid conflicts and try to find alternatives to violence, and also making decisions based on the sense of the meeting, which I will touch a little bit more about that, which is very unique to the Quaker tradition.
像这个平和呢，它最主要强调就是说，我们可以避免就是一些暴力的一种沟通的方式，所以我们可以用平和的方式跟人来沟通，跟人来开会。然后我之后再更解释，就是在开会的时候呢，以怎么样一种平和的方式来跟人沟通。
And integrity, they stress that you let your life speak, and your outer life reflects your inner life, and we should nurture our moral compass, and everyone as a teacher we should help nurture students' moral compass.
再来是正直，正直呢，它是让你的人来直接替你说话，让人家知道你是谁，就你这个人正直的本质，它就代表你。然后我们在教学生呢，他就是用这种正直的这种道德的方式来指引着学生。
And with respect to community, there's always that a balance between your individual needs over the needs of the group, and also they come together in support of each other in silent meeting for worship, they call it. And this I will also mention because it's quite unique as a form of meeting for the school.
然后这个团体呢，他所要了解就是说你个人的需求跟团体的需求要如何的达到一个平衡。那刚才我提到就是一个很安静的一个开会，安静的聚会这种方式，它是一个非常特别的一种聚会方式，它开会是一个安静的。
And equality means that they believe there's the light in each of us. In their perspective, is the light of God. So based on that, they try to use addressing everyone by first name as a way to show that that equality. So it's not in a Asian tradition, you don't address people by first name, but in this case, they use that as a way to show that everyone has the light and has the truth, has a piece of truth. So they, and at the same time, they also honor all faith.
再来是平等，这平等呢，他们是相信在每一个人呢 都有这种自信的光芒，这种光芒他们是说是一个神的光，神的光芒。然后因为每个人都具有这种神光，所以他相信每个人都是平等。所以在学校呢，每一个人都是以他的名字互称，像尤其在亚洲，我们会称他的姓，可是他只是用他的名，只称名，在互相称呼对方都是只用名不用姓，因为代表说大家都是平等，它是一种不同的方式来表达，就大家都是平等。那当然呢，他也很尊重就所有不同的宗教信仰。
And then the last one is the stewardship. They stress quite a bit, even at our school. My former school there, they stress about protecting the environment, and they are very mindful about the use of I think coal energy they try to reduce that dependency in school. So the goal is to protect and care for the earth as a sacred trust.
这个是一种叫做管理的一个职责，一个管理者的管理员的一个职责跟责任。管理什么呢？保护我们的地球，因为地球呢，它是一个很珍贵的一个资源，所以我们要相信地球，保护地球，保护这个环境。所以它是一种这种有管理的这个职责的这种方式。
All right. So this is initially I didn't want to disclose, but I think it's fine because there's nothing, it's not like expose of something that is not, each school have different problems, and many problems are common to all. But I would like to stress the good qualities that they maintain. This school is called George School in Pennsylvania. It's a co-ed day boarding private high school in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, founded close to 130 years ago. Yeah, close to 130. So it's 1893 by Quakers, or called Societies of Friends. Currently, they have 72 faculty, full-time faculty, 539 students, and the tuition I think is quite high. It's day students for 46,000, and then boarding 69, but they have a lot of financial aids. I encountered within my dorm, many students receive full scholarships to attend the school there, and they had 10 million in financial aids, and 50% of them receive financial aid.
像这个学校呢，它的名字叫乔治学校，然后它这个学校呢它是一个算是私人的一个私立学校，在宾州。然后它呢是1893年创立，所以将近130年。当然提到就 Quaker 就是叫做教友派信徒。然后他的学生呢，当然就500多人左右。你看他的学费呢，其实非常贵，大概4万多块，还有住宿费。不过呢，他们的一种学费的资助呢，也是非常的充裕的。因为有50%以上的学生呢，都能够得到这种学费的资助，因为他们有将近就是1000万美元的这种学费的资助，可以让学生来申请。
So I mentioned about the Quaker traditions, and then I also observe it in practice. So we have weekly meeting for worship. Is a silent, everyone sits around, and it's not just because the meeting house is not big enough for the whole school, so half of the student population together with teachers attends one Tuesday sessions, and then another half attends the Thursday session.
然后刚才提到他的开会是这种叫做静坐的开会，然后他的学生呢，当然没有办法全体一起静坐，所以他必须要分天，所以不同班不同年级的学生呢，在不同的时间会有这种一起静的坐在一起开会的这样这种方式，这是一个很特别的。
And the meeting is 30 minutes. Everyone sits around with many rows of chairs. and just quietly, there's no full lotus, half lotus, you just sit there and just quiet for 30 minutes. And it's really hard for some students who are new to the traditions, and because many students, as I will mention about common problems in US school, is that they are attached to their cell phones.
他每次静坐呢是有30分钟的时间，然后学生就坐在椅子上面，有很多排的椅子。那当然不是我们有说像什么双盘啊、半盘啊之类的。然后像这样子的30分钟的静坐呢，对学生来讲是非常的困难，因为我们都知道学生呢，他们都很沉迷于他们手机，像这种电子器材，所以叫他们安静的坐个30分钟是非常的困难。
And decision making is based on the sense of the meeting. I have seen that a few times throughout during the faculty meetings. They whenever there's big ticket items that needs a vote, they will try to have a quiet moment and then decide on whether to choose yes or no against certain decisions.
像在一些校务的比较重要的决定性的会议，譬如说要投票等等，在他们在这种投票啊要做决定之前，他们都会先静坐，安静了一段时间之后呢，才会去开始做一些重要的这些讨论，然后做投票的决定的工作。
And in terms of the equality in access to solid education, as I mentioned, they try to achieve that goal as much as possible by giving quite a lot of financial aid to those with limited resources.
像这个平等性对他们是特别重要，因为学费的这种教育费用非常的高昂，所以他们呢都希望需要受到帮助的学生都能够拿到这种学费的帮助，所以这是他们的一个目标去达到的。
And as I was a new teacher last year, not last year, but 2 years ago, and they also provide Quaker education and discuss the traditions during orientation, so we get oriented about the and try to at least respect, if you cannot model, at least respect their traditions.
像我是1年半前在那里教书，那我是因为新的老师，所以他有新老师的一个简介，一种介绍的一些内容。然后当然有新的老师，他可能没有办法完全能够接受像这种教友派这种信念。那你如果说不能接受，那你至少要能够尊重所学校的这些信念。
They also stress community service, so all students have to take on different roles to serve the community, and new students usually have to work at the dining hall during lunch and dinner.
他们很注重社区服务，所有的学生呢都要在校内做各种不同的服务性的工作，尤其新的学生，他在中午的饭厅，还有晚餐的这个饭厅都要做工。
And then as the student progress through their years, they will take on more important, more administrative roles, serve to help others like dorm prefects or clean up classrooms, and maybe in the student councils to make decisions to help organize events.
然后学生来住1年之后呢，会开始做一些管理性的工作，譬如说帮助舍监管理宿舍、打扫教室，那甚至于是一些活动的一些安排等等。
All right, so my older son went there for a year. And then I asked him, as I was preparing the brief talk, and what is the few key points that you want people to take away. And he said that faculty, staff, and students are very nice and accepting, and he stressed that they don't charge you. And also students are generally quite respectful of their teachers and of their peers.
我的大儿子呢，他也有到那里读1年，所以我在准备这个简报的时候呢，我问他说：“你有没有什么一些心得想要大家能够了解到的？”然后他有2点，然后第一点呢，他提到就是老师这些教职员们呢，对学生都非常的好，他们非常有这种叫做接受，一种接受度，他们并不会去评断、去评论学生。所以他们的接受度，接受你是谁，这个接受度很高。然后学生呢，他们也非常尊重他们的老师，还有其他的同才。
So these are some of my observations as a teacher. Is that I can sense the administrations take students' progress, academic progress seriously, and we usually have we call it advisory council every 8 weeks, where the whole administration, schools, counseling teams, student health team, and teachers all get together to review students' academic progress, those that are that are falling behind, and we have to do evaluations and try to come up with a plan for the student, either to impose certain restriction or maybe encourage counseling or something. So they really take it quite seriously.
再来就是我的分享，因为我是老师，像我觉得他们就是很注重学生的学业的表现，所以他们各个不同的老师呢，他会有一个组成一个小小的一个老师的一个讨论团，然后这些老师呢，他们会定期很经常性的会聚在一起开会讨论学生的在课堂上的表现，尤其是这些吊车尾的学生，这些表现的比较辛苦、比较不好的学生，如何来做，如何来鼓励他，那他能够学习得更好，能够有好的表现。像这样子的会议呢，都经常性的召开，非常关注学生的表现。
And also the administrations also takes teaching really seriously. Head of school, and associate head of school, they are usually quite busy, with a lot of administrative work, but they take the time to review, come to class and give you feedback on your teaching. And also, department head also came to my class and observed my class and share his thought on my teaching as well.
像在管理部门呢，也一样非常的关照，就是学生、老师说的一些情况。像各个不同管理部门的长官呢，一些教务长，他们都会来到学校、到教室里面看老师上课的表现。比如说，在我自己的课呢，教务长本身就有来看过。所以，因为这些管理部门他们其实都非常的忙，可是他们一定会拨出时间到教室来关心老师、关心学生。
And teachers are very professional, and they are treated with respect by the administration.
像这些老师呢，也都非常的专业，所以这些管理部门呢，也都非常尊重这些老师们。
So these are common problems. I talked to my colleagues over there, and also visited some other schools, and I've seen and these are common, not just we found a few cases here and there, even when I was there. So, but the most common one is the cell phone and social media use, and throughout campus, when they need to be quiet during, let's say, assembly, you can see that they respect that rule, they don't touch it. But occasionally you see a few students still using their cell phone. But once they are outside walking around, and you can see most of them are, looking at their cell phones.
像这几个问题呢，就是我注意到的。那第一点呢，当然就是手机的使用跟这些社群网站的这种使用。像学生呢，当然如果他是在一种集会开会的一个情况呢，当然他会尊重，他不会用他的手机。可是当譬如说学生离开了教室，那在外面走路的时候呢，你可以很清楚看到每个学生马上就把手机打开来看了。
And the second item is the computer video gaming, and quite common for I think more male students than female students. But even in our dorms, we have cases where after study hall where we have to make sure that they don't play games. But after that, is there's a policy that you are not allowed to shut them down. You just have to let them play, which is quite hard. Sometimes students they play for long hours until late at night, and then they couldn't get up in the morning.
像这些问题呢，当然就在很多学校都有，不是只是说这间学校。像第二个就是打电玩，像这种打电玩呢，他们在读书的时候呢，当然是不能够打电玩。可是如果说学生读书完了之后的他们的自由的活动时间呢，学校是允许学生打电玩，然后而且老师不能够去阻止学生打电玩。那当然这问题就很多了，因为有些学生呢会打电玩打得非常的晚，所以早上要起来读书的时候呢，就变成起不来。
And then in terms of the use of intoxicants or maybe those activities, sexual activities, usually we heard stories from during our orientations how students try to get their way, but this I'll just leave it at that.
像当然我在做这种训练的时候呢，他们有提到就学生用一些麻醉药品，像这样子都有所听闻，就学生试着偷偷的去用，那甚至于譬如说像这种性行为等等，所以当然都是有听闻过。
And then what I observe quite often is that the study hall at the library is usually for a few students, they use it as a dating, time instead of studying.
像在图书馆呢，它本来是一个读书的一个地方，读书的空间。不过当然有少数的学生呢，就是把它变成一个约会的场所。
So just a quick summary, and it's general to it's something everyone can use. If you are a good student, you have the discipline, you have the dedication, you have the concentration, then you can do well at your school or any school. But if you don't have that, then there must they still can get by at your school, because the school have a lot of resources. They create different pathway for you to choose your path, academic path. So even in math, let's say algebra 2 or something, we have two different pathways.
像学生呢，他如果学生是好学生，他当然他能够自己专心自己读书都没有问题。那如果说学生他并不喜欢学习，那就算是学校有这么多的资源，那当然学生学习的这种自主性跟意愿呢，当然就是会低落。像这种情况呢，都是一样的。当然学校呢对学生的他们学生出路的这种安排呢，都有非常多的不同的一些安排的方式。那学生可以选择他们将来要走的一些方向，像有些学生喜欢数学的话，那数学是一个怎么样的一个将来的走向，他们都跟学生都会有很多的讨论跟安排好。
All right, thank you, Amitofo.
One quick question. What we can learn from the Jewish school to our school?
We need human resources. We need more volunteer teachers, administrators.
How do they get so many financial aids? What's the source for that?
Actually, I heard that there was a very big donor who donated a lot of money, like hundreds of millions for over 20 years period or something like that. And of course, they also have endowment to help to, it's like pay it forward. Once you know, alumni. I also noticed that many students who alumni who came back to teach. So there were quite a lot of them. And in terms of the resources, because of the tuition, they have to use tuition as a way to balance the budget and to hire good teachers and to hire, and also and for the facilities and everything to attract good students as well.
你简单的翻译一下吧。
Alan 帮忙王师兄。
对，我们那个刚才永法师提到，就是说，那我们玉良培德呢，怎么可以来跟他们学习呢？有没有什么是我们可以学习改进的地方？刚才郭博士提到讲说呢，当然我们男女校呢，玉良培德最缺的就是人，我们需要多点老师，还有我们的行政人员，因为我们很缺人，这是大概是我们玉良培德最需要的。然后刚才永法师提到说，他们学校这个 George School 呢，乔治学校怎么有这么多的捐款？那你有了解到一些情况吗？他说，我听说呢，是有一个很大的一个施主，他好像捐了大概差不多上亿的美金，然后譬如说分成20年，在这20年呢，然后如何来用他的这样的一个大捐款？然后当然很多的一些校友呢，他们出入社会之后呢，赚钱他们会回馈呢来帮助学校，然后当然他们也收学费。像这些都是他们来平衡他们支出的一种各种不同的方式，因为像这种有经费，你才可以雇到好的老师，那才会有好的学生愿意来学校。
Okay, because of the time constraint, I think we need to stop here. 因为时间不早了，所以我们要这边停下来。那我们接下来就来做回向。Sorry, this is the wrong one. Ellen, can you lead us?
May the Mary from this practice adorn all the Buddha's lands, repay the kindness from above, and rescue those in paths below. May all who see or hear all this resolve upon awakening, and when this body meets its end, be born together in the land of bliss.
Do you have bows? In respect to the Venerable Master, thank you, Ajahn, and also Dr. Guan. Appreciate your talk. And we'll end here today. 谢谢大家的参与。感谢Kovilo的老师，还有郭博士。阿弥陀佛。